The Carl H. Lindner College of Business and the University of Cincinnati equip aspiring entrepreneurs from all backgrounds with the skills, resources, and connections to launch and scale their business ideas. On this episode of Bearcats Mean Business, Charlie Breidenbach, an entrepreneurship and insurance and risk management double major, details how he embraced this entrepreneurial ethos by co-founding Greenway Asphalt Rejuvenation. Charlie is also part of the team planning the Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition Conference at the 1819 Innovation Hub on May 8th. Charlie, welcome to Bearcats Mean Business.
Hi, Grant. Really, thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time and having me today. It's really surreal to be on this podcast, considering Lindner's been such an integral part of my journey. And I love talking about what I've done so far and how I've gotten to the point where I am. So being able to share this is definitely special for me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. You might have to carry me, as listeners can probably tell, I'm a little under the weather, so Charlie's going to carry us today. But first, let's start with your background and your two majors. Why entrepreneurship and why insurance and risk management? Why are these two areas for you?
Yeah, so for me and the direction and the path that I'm headed in life, I kind of consider the entrepreneurship major to really be the heart of where I'm headed. And it kind of guides my ambition, and it kind of guides my mindset to grow and scale things within my business and to get to the point where I want to be. And then I also wanted to figure out, hey, how can I protect that? How can I minimize my risk and, safeguard myself from all the different areas that people are coming at you from every which way in business. And by adding on that second major for insurance and risk management, I was able to really wrap my head around, how to minimize risk within my business and how to save and protect it.
Right. And you mentioned added on to you an entrepreneurship major just to start, and then you added insurance and risk management?
It was actually the other way around.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
I was originally, some of my family had been involved in the insurance space, so I added that on first and realized that, hey, I wanted to get access to the 1819 Innovation Hub, so I soon added the entrepreneurship degree.
Nice. Now that's a great combo.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you have a background in family insurance. Is there any entrepreneurial background in your family with your friends that you kind of got the bug from, or is this something that was like maybe spontaneous through your studies here at Lindner?
Yeah, growing up, my parents ran a Surf Pro, which is fire, water, and damage restoration here in Cincinnati. It was a franchise for a few years, so I was really able to take inspiration from their growth and to watch them lead a team and grow something into a sustainable business. But then also my partner, who is in me with the Asphalt Rejuvenation business today, we started a window cleaning company that was originally his idea. We scaled that for 18 months from my sophomore year to my junior year, and then we sold it to another window cleaning company here in Cincinnati before getting into asphalt. So he really had a push in me to kind of say, hey, Charlie, let's go out and do something, and let's get after what you've always had the ambition for.
And you were hooked. Love it. Now, why did you come to Lindner? Are you from the Cincinnati area? What stood out about Lindner I'm sure you had many other choices. What stood out about Lindner to bring you here?
Yeah. So I've been from Cincinnati my entire life. I've always tried to make a big network here and connect with different people within the business realm. And staying here where it's close to my roots and close to my family for that too has really been an integral part of, hey, instead of going out and building something somewhere else, let's double down on what I already have and let's build those relationships and let's build on what I currently have and to grow from there. And I've already have an established base, so it really helps out.
Sure, you already the established connections in the area. I understand
exactly.
that. Now, your company is Greenway Asphalt Rejuvenation, and your differentiator is your Veritas Green, your asphalt rejuvenator. How did you stumble into the asphalt business? You mentioned the window cleaning business. How did you transition into asphalt?
Yes, I never really expected to transition into an infrastructure solutions company, but we've connected with someone who is the investor behind Veritas Green and what it is today, and they were looking to expand their operations out here to the Midwest. And we were saying we were getting out of the window cleaning business, and we said, hey, we're looking to make investments elsewhere. We're looking to grow a company and a business here in Cincinnati. And I think this is a really perfect match where we can take your product and bring it out here and show what it can do for the Midwest communities.
What have you learned so far about the process of starting this business from scratch, sort of the ups and downs of the process along the way?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing for me has been patience. It's an absolute roller coaster. The way you go from deals falling through to the deals you don't expect to sign, they're the ones that are signing, and then also just dealing with all kinds of vendors and all kinds of logistics behind getting labor team together. And it really teaches you patience. And I had to wait a long time to get to the point where I want to be today and where I am today. But at the end of the day, it's just putting one foot in front of the other and saying, hey, how can I get done what I need to do today in order to accomplish what I need from a year from now?
Sure, and I know Cincinnati itself prides itself on its different neighborhoods, and that's a great thing. but I'm sure that also presents your company with some challenges on different zoning and different arrangements with local government. So how has it been kind of navigating that nest and sort of making sure you get clearance with the different businesses, and how's that process working out?
Yeah, for Veritas Green, we're actually able to lay this product down on all public roadways. We can lay it down on municipal roadways as well as private HOA and COA communities. So those all vary greatly in the sense of how they look at their asphalt asset. So going from each one has been difficult because they all have their different spaces and how they think that asphalt should be solved and how asphalt should be maintained. So we're almost having to go out and educate these people on a level of, hey, here's the best solution at this time for the current conditions of your product.
Right. Now you're a student operating a full-time business. How are you balancing school and running a business?
Yeah, so that's definitely a tough aspect of my life. But to be quite honest, the business does come first. But that doesn't say that the school is in a close second. I have everything on a tight schedule, and I operate on a very
maybe a little less hours of sleep is what it sounds like too.
Yeah, a little bit. You can get a little bit less hours of sleep. I definitely didn't get as much as I should have last night. But yeah, just sticking to the schedule and knowing what you have to get done each day, like I said earlier, so that way when you're building it out over the long run, you're stacking these wins every single day, and you're doing what you need to get done. It really grows and builds, and then you look back and you say, wow, I've achieved all this.
Right. What have you learned about yourself, just like personally, through the process of trying to weigh this balance of school in one hand and learning the business in the other hand?
Yeah, it's definitely pushed me to kind of mature mentally a lot quicker than some of the other peers, I would say, but I think that's because it just goes back to the roller coaster of moving things up and down and having to do so many things within a day, and then also keeping your eye on the ball, keeping your eye on the future and what you need to accomplish, and not getting stuck in those little ruts that come about on a weekly basis.
All right. We talked off air before we record about your involvement with the Center for Entrepreneurship. Can you tell listeners about how you kind of got involved there, how they've helped your business, and how you're also helping out with some of their other programming? Yeah.
So when I added my entrepreneurship major, I got access to the 1819 Innovation Hub. I was taking a class there. It was Intro to Innovation, and Alex Burkhart was teaching it. And I really connected with this class and Alex Burkhart. I'd recommend this class for any business student here at Lindner. It was my favorite, and it really was able to Alex lit another fire inside of me that I already had, but he honestly grew it to be even bigger, and he was able to push me to grow and to think differently and to look at innovation differently. So from there, my experience with them grew, and I got involved through the space there with Kate Harmon as well, and we're going to be heading up the Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition Conference on May 8th.
And so for those who don't know, what is Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition, and what is the conference detail about that subject area?
Yeah, so Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition is, instead of starting your own business, it's going out and finding something that's already doing great. It's already got a great market share. It's already performing really well. But how can we innovate on what they're currently doing, and how can we grow and scale what they're currently doing? And for entrepreneurs that don't want to go out and start something new, there's millions of options out there and businesses for sale, and there's never been a bigger time to buy a business. So if you want to go out there and do that, we're able to show you what the system around that looks like, and what all the parallels and how you can align everything to buy a business and get it to grow. And we're going to have all those parallels there at the conference on May 8th.
Excellent. Now, Charlie, I think there might be a couple of misconceptions about entrepreneurship just in general for those that maybe want to get involved in it. If they're a prospective student, maybe they're a current student here looking to maybe shift their subject of area of study. I think when I think of entrepreneurship, I think of maybe someone just founding a company instead of someone that can just maybe not be the founder, but join the company, or like you just mentioned, join through ETA, Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition. Is that like maybe a misnomer out there about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, certainly. I don't think that anyone who wants to get involved in entrepreneurship has to go out and start their business from scratch. Like I said, that can be extremely hard. And with so many opportunities out there to buy businesses, to network, to make connections with existing businesses, even where you can have access to their products and pushing them in areas where they're not currently being sold or things like that, you can go out and you can create these solutions, you can create these networks, and you can build these ideas very holistically of how you can support other businesses and gain access to their ecosystem and their products, and build from there.
Right on. Now, you mentioned Alex Burkhart. Are there any other Lindner professors or staff members that have been not only influential in helping you build out your company, but in your Lindner studies in general?
Yeah, certainly. My new venture creations teacher, Greg Lechner, has been very influential in giving me ideas and helping me work through different scenarios within my business. He was a part of Lens Crafters here in Cincinnati, so he's got a really good head for what that big corporation, what that big business looks like, and what those contracts can look like, and how to minimize your risk when it comes to different liabilities, working with different vendors and different customers and that sort of thing. And then also Derek Schumann, the owner of Homestretch. He's been very influential in my journey as well too. I'm taking his class this semester, and that's another thing. He's been able to help me work through different scenarios, give me ideas, and also bounce things off of what his business is.
Right. So what are your personal plans for the future? You mentioned we're nearing the graduation finish line for you. What are your plans for the future and plans for the company?
Yeah, so the plans for the company are to, build here in Cincinnati and continue to expand throughout Ohio. Ohio is one of the biggest states for asphalt rejuvenation and asphalt maintenance, and that's just due to the market share and the amount of maintenance dollars put towards these pavement assets here. But we want to grow and expand to the Midwest. Typically speaking, our type of company only operates during the summer months and during the spring months, but we want to operate year-round. So having those states down south where we're able to kind of migrate in the winter and continue our revenue and continue our growth down there is crucial to building our business. And I'd like to eventually go all the way out to California, to be quite honest with you. I want to push this product across the United States. I think it's a game changer. I think it's the biggest disruptor that's ever come to asphalt. And if we continue to educate and show these municipalities and these HOAs and these COA communities what it can do to extend the life cycle of their asphalt, it's really going to be a game changer.
All right, let's close with this. What about some general advice for just students that they maybe don't even have to be studying entrepreneurship, but as we mentioned, you're nearing graduation. When you kind of look back at your Lindner career, what's some general advice and tips for current or even prospective students?
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on it earlier. The mindset behind entrepreneurship can be applied to everything.
Yeah.
Just put your best foot forward. Life is a roller coaster, and I know some people think I'm kind of crazy to say it, but if you're living, you're all in. So why not just play the most wonderful game that you can every single day? And when you keep stacking those wins and keep playing the way that you do at the peak of your ability, then you're going to be the best person that you can be.
All right. My thanks to Charlie Breidenbach for joining me today on Bearcats Mean Business. Looking to start your own business or get involved in a startup? Get involved with the Center for Entrepreneurship. Contact them at business.uc.edu. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing or leaving a 5-star review for Bearcats Mean Business on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in. Go Bearcats.